Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, and welcome to the very first Sacred Union Energy Update of the new year. I hope everyone has had a fantastic holiday season. I myself finally found a proper work-life balance in which I feel rested, I feel renewed, I feel rejuvenated, and I feel motivated again. And if you guys have been here with me for a while, you know I was struggling for the past maybe 2 or so months with a lot of the energies and some feeling of just disconnected from maybe my work, I guess you could call it. I don't really know what you call it. It was like a hibernation mode that I felt like I was in, a hermit mode that I felt like I was in. And I know many of you were experiencing the same thing that you shared with me as we were talking about it in the energy updates. But something shifted with New Year's. New Year's Eve is my favorite day. If you read the newsletter or you follow me on social media, you know why. It's because many, many years ago, I made the conscious effort to really shift everything when I was struggling. And it became my favorite year because I decided it was my favorite year or my favorite day of the year. And it really made a difference. And I didn't have the words for it back then, but I felt joy fill my heart again. I laughed for the first time in a while. And because my life had been filled with a lot of struggle, a lot of suffering, and a lot of darkness at that point due to illness. And I laughed, really laughed for the first time. And again, I don't have the words for it, but I felt the energy lift. And it was like there was this warmth that filled my living room that night, and I felt held. And after that, everything changed, or at least it began to. Things don't change overnight, but we take steps and we build upon those steps. And that is part of what our ascension journey teaches us that it's a process. And the more we make those conscious efforts, the more we make those conscious choices to shift our beliefs, to transform ourselves and our lives, the more that comes to fruition, because we are truly empowered creators. We truly do create the experiences and the realities that we believe in. And we do have a collective reality, as one of my favorite quotes from Hadestown is, to the world we dream about and the one we live in now. And I believe in that. Both. It's about being the bridge for both. And so you create what you believe. And some of those beliefs are deeply ingrained and deeply held. Some of those come from our upbringing. Some of those come from society and conditioning. But what we learn on the ascension journey is how to connect deep into the core of ourselves, deep into the soul of ourselves. And what are the beliefs that you hold there? What is that divine truth that you hold sacred there? So I hope that you all had a fantastic New Year's, and I hope that you are continuing into the year with renewed insight and wisdom and knowledge about yourself and joy and peace and faith. And also, it's not technically the new year. Technically, the new year begins in spring, right? This is just the calendar year, but we celebrate it as we do collectively. But also be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself as you're moving through the next couple of months. Whether it's wintertime or summertime where you are, it is a time of going deeper within yourself. It is a time of connecting more to yourself. So be gentle to yourself. It is always going to be a process. So before we get to some channelings and information and downloads that I've been getting with regards to where is a collective, I do want to do some housekeeping. So quick reminder, the year ahead readings close for bookings on January 15th next week. So make sure that if you would like your year ahead reading that you are booking now. I will have a collective reading. I'm not sure when that will be, but there will be a collective year ahead reading sometime in the near future. Also, the free gift for the Whispers of the Heart and Soul affirmation series is going to be closing. I'm going to extend that to tomorrow. So if you missed it, make sure that you're getting the free gift. It's free until January 5th. I'm going to extend that to January 6th tomorrow. Make sure that you're getting that if you would like it. It's affirmations. That, I feel, is what helped me kind of shift what I was experiencing. I would listen to that every night for a week, and I've really connected back to myself and really shifted some beliefs I was feeling, and some kind of disconnection that I was feeling to myself too. And so that really helped me reconnect to some of the disconnect I was feeling. So that is available for free until January 6th. So make sure that you're getting it. It will always be available in our Ascension Connections portal, but it is a free gift for the holidays for a limited time. Check it out at ascensionconnections.com. There is a link there, or you can look for it in our Sacred Journeys section of that portal. And final reminder, I'm going to be closed to personal bookings going forward, with the exception of fundraiser readings. And the first fundraiser reading will be in February. We'll do a special Valentine's Day one. So that is a way in which I can happily give back to the community and do philanthropy and advocacy work, which is so dear to my heart. So that's how we're going to be doing the personal readings from now on. So if you would like to be notified when those fundraiser reading specials come up, make sure that you are signing up for our Spiritual Connections newsletter, and also following us on our social media platforms, especially Instagram is our main platform. So the Spiritual Connections newsletter too, make sure that you add us to your address book, because some of those are hopping into the spam folders. So make sure that you are adding us so that you catch everything that we are sending out. Okay, today is a big day in our hockey community day. It is a hockey game in which it is my favorite. You might have heard me talk about it before. It's the teddy bear toss. That is where we gather as hockey fans, as a community. We bring tons of stuffed animals to donate. And when the first goal is scored by the hometown team, all the stuffed animals are thrown onto the ice to be donated to the local children's hospitals and other children's charities. It is a fantastic day. It's my favorite day. The community, the unity that's felt, the generosity that's experienced, it is like nothing else. Last year, nearly 75,000 stuffed animals were donated. So it is just an exciting day of community and unity and generosity. And so this might be a little bit of a shorter read, but it is one that I wanted to do into the new year, the first one of the new year. I am taking a little bit of a hiatus into February. So beginning in February, mid-February, we will really start picking up again with our readings and our content and workshops and such. But I'm still going to be pulling back just a little bit, like I have been, just to continue taking care of myself. Health is my number one priority right now, as well as continuing to nurture this work-life balance I've been creating for myself. So I hope you continue to join us. Thank you so much for being part of this incredible community. I mean it from the bottom of the heart. You guys are just incredible. The emails that I get, the breakthroughs and the transformations that you guys are having I love seeing it. I absolutely love seeing it. Okay, I am getting back into the swing of things, as you can tell. It is... I feel like I took a break forever. It's been like, what, a week, 2 weeks? But I feel like I've been gone for like 6 months. It's crazy. Okay, let's see what's going on. There was some information that I wanted to share. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been getting this energy of coming home, and I feel like we mentioned it in the past couple of Sacred Union energy updates. We touched upon it. This feeling of coming home to yourself, yes, but also this feeling of twin flame, sacred partners coming back into connection with each other. I know for certain that we have been talking about that, because I've been revisiting the reunion and reconciliation channeling that we did many years ago. Maybe it was even last year. I don't know. But it was all about trusting in yourself, connecting to the energy, tuning into the energy, and getting to know each other again. You might have to, especially if there was prolonged no contact, no communication, you might have to get to know each other again. And even if you have been in contact and communication, even if you have been in a relationship with your partner, part of growing together is getting to know each other in all these different iterations of yourselves, because as you grow, you grow and evolve into new aspects of yourselves, into new identities. And so part of relationship and relating to each other is getting to know each other in those iterations and not holding on to past versions of who you were. but opening up. And that's truly what unconditional love is allowing that process. And so I've been channeling these messages of coming home and homecoming. And again, take it as it resonates. Always take these readings as it resonates. It could be within your own masculine and feminine energies, for yourself, your inner union. It could be with regards to a person and a counterpart connection, or it could be with regards to the collective, because we're seeing this play out in the greater landscape with regards to masculine and feminine energies as a whole. We're seeing a lot of divisiveness with regards to male and females and masculine and feminine energies, but that is part of the journey. And so, what you'll actually see in the collective, the greater collective, the global collective, is a lag from what we're experiencing on our sacred union ascension path. Because those of you who are twin flame sacred partners, who are higher level soulmates, who are on this sacred union path of ascension, you are leading the way in healing those dynamics, healing those polarities between the masculine and the feminine. And so what you're seeing play out in the greater global landscape is a reflection of that, but that's a little bit of a lag time. So take a look. It's so interesting to see. We talked about this in some of the previous sacred channelings, especially Yeshua and the open door, and Into the Garden, with Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. We see this play out in the global collective with regards to the masculine and the feminine, and how they seem to be at odds, how there seems to be a lot of chaos, especially as the feminine is rising. It's shining a shadow on the masculine. But that's part of the ascension process as well, as we've learned on the sacred union ascension journey, is that there is no division. There is no separation between the two. It just looks like separation. It just looks like division that is playing out. But the more that we honor and stay in that honoring of both, the more that we see that we can come together in that unity, come together in that union. And so it's very interesting to see it play out in the greater collective as we have been experiencing it within our own individual or our segmented sacred union experience. For those who are experiencing it with a twin flame or sacred partner, it's very interesting. And again, you're leading the way to how to heal those connections by learning how to honor yourself, learning how to have conscious communication, learning how to have deeper intimacy with oneself through healing oneself, and healing any of those perhaps attachment issues, healing any false beliefs, healing any of that soul sludge, as I like to call it, that have kept you suppressed, that have kept you from who you are throughout your life. So we're healing all this energy, and that's having a huge impact on the collective. And it's so interesting to see it play out, because even though it might look like destruction, again, that's kind of what you've experienced within your own sacred union journey. You've seen it play out with the triggers and the friction and the tension. But that's only because it's showing you where the blind spots are. It's showing you where it needs to heal. And so on a collective level, it's showing us where the collective still needs to heal and grow. But you yourself, through your own journey, that's ripple effect, you are leading the way through your own healing work and the healing work that you're doing within conscious connection with your partner. That is leading the way. So this energy of coming home is, I feel like twin flame sacred partners, you're coming home to each other in a sense. Again, this could be your own inner masculine and feminine. This could be connecting to the twin flame energy or a sacred partner energy. This could be with regards to healthier communication or conscious connection with a partner. However that is, it feels like there's this sacredness that is wrapped around you, this protection that is wrapped around you at this time. And so allow it to unfold as it unfolds. And the most important thing is to trust in your intuition, trust in yourself, trust in the energy. And continue to honor yourself and how much you've grown into that empowered state of being. And we'll talk more about that in some upcoming channelings. I'll do some in-depth channelings. But in the meantime, you can check out the Reunion Reconciliation channeling for a little bit more on that. So let's see what this means for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. I'm using this activations oracle because I feel like that's what's happening. I feel like we're getting a lot of activations in dream state, in heightened telepathy we might be experiencing as well. And telepathy doesn't always look like we expect telepathy to look like. Telepathy can look like downloads, upgrades. It can look like connecting, feeling connected, surges of love, surges of connection, surges of all those aspects of love, which is joy, peace, forgiveness, connection. Telepathy can also look like music downloads or just little kind of drop-ins of understanding, knowledge, and compassion with regards to each other, with regards to yourself and your own journey. But I do feel like there is a lot of activations that are happening at this time. So let's get into it and see what's going on for the Divine Masculine at this time. These cards are very active too. Let's see what's going on for the Divine Masculine. Realization. They're pointing me to the number 37 that boils down to a 10 number. And the 10 is a completion, but also a beginning. Because the 10 also, therefore, boils down to a 1. And so that's the cycle, right? The cycle of life, the cycle of creation, as Kali Ma once taught us. It is from destruction comes creation. From endings come beginnings. It is a circle, an ever evolving, ever expanding, unending circle of evolution, of our expansion, of our ascension. I feel like the Divine Masculine is having a lot of those downloads and those realizations and those insights that we were just discussing. So it might not just be you, it might be your counterpart as well that's experiencing this, or this could be your inner masculine. Take it as it resonates. But I feel like the masculine energy is having a lot of renewed understanding. And what I'm seeing is it's almost like they've gotten fresh eyes in a sense. It's like they're seeing things through a new lens. What they're showing me is, you know, when you get new glasses or new contacts or something like that, if you're having trouble seeing, you go to the eye doctor and they put you in this like machine where they're like, read the board, and you're reading the board and they're like, they do something with the lenses and they're like, is this better or is this better? Can you see clearly here or here? And they're trying to determine what lens type you are. They're trying to determine like the thickness of your lens. And so they're kind of going back and forth. Is it 1 or is it 2? Which can you see better, 1 or 2? And that's what I feel like the Divine Masculines are experiencing and have been experiencing. Is it 1 or is it 2? They might be going back and forth a little bit, but it's only because things are getting much more clear for them. They're understanding, I feel, their experiences, they're understanding their journey, and even if they're not spiritual, they're looking at life through a more spiritual lens. And I feel like this might not be entirely conscious yet. For some, they might not have the words, the spiritual words for it, as you do, Divine Feminine. They might not have the words consciousness. They might not have the words sacred partner. They might not have the words ascension, but they're experiencing those things. They're experiencing the journey as a spiritual journey. For those who are of the more spiritual nature, they might understand the words consciousness and sacred partner and ascension, but they might not have grounded that energy. They might not have truly understood what that meant for them and their life and how that connected to them. In essence, what they're saying is they might not have connected to that energy, even though they might have known the words. And so, again, it's an integration. Ascension is an integration. It's an anchoring in. And so the Divine Masculines, especially, they have to... they often, I should say, play out those experiences in order to understand it. For example, they might, they're the more grounded partner. They're the more grounded energy, the more grounded consciousness, I guess you could say. And so they will often play out through experiences, lessons that they're learning or insight that they're getting. That doesn't mean that they have to choose hardship. But the more conscious you become, the more aware you are that the choices that you make kind of inform your reality, that the beliefs you hold inform your reality. But it's only through playing that out that you understand that. So let's give a comparison here. Yeah, look at the bottom of the deck. They just had me bring that through, and universal love here and alchemy. I'm going to take all these because this is exactly what it's about. I'm going to put this aside for now. The masculine, Let me explain the feminine first. The feminine is a more energetically connected sacred partner or counterpart or energy, however you want to describe it. Remember, it's all an energy, and it's all within you too. You have both the masculine and the feminine energies within you, both the feminine and the masculine polarities within you. So you will experience both, but the core feminine will be more spiritually connected. It's not to say that the masculine isn't, but she will experience more of those downloads, and rather than having to play out those experiences, she will more easily be able to trust her intuition and thus transmute the energy, alchemize any energy. She will be able to see the bigger picture, and thus by seeing the bigger picture and allowing her, that's where her masculine energy comes into play, her inner masculine. She trusts and is guided and takes action based on the insights that she's receiving from the bigger picture. That's what guides her. And the more that she is trusting her feminine energy, allowing herself to receive that insight, allowing herself to receive those downloads, allowing herself to see that bigger picture and trust and follow that bigger picture, connecting to her soul self and taking those action steps, that's her masculine, taking those action steps, the more she's going to be aligned with her path, the more she's going to be aligned with her soul, the more she's going to be aligned with her truth. So the masculine, in a distorted kind of lens, isn't connecting to the feminine. And so they might suppress their own inner feminine energies, not trusting the intuition, not trusting the guidance, not trusting where they're being led. And so they might have to play out some experiences in order to learn lessons, in order to clear energy, in order to alchemize. They play it out more until they come into that balance within themselves, until that inner feminine rises. And so they're able to trust in that feminine energy. They're able to honor the feminine energy within themselves, but also, yes, the feminine energy within a conscious connection. Trust is a major player with regards to sacred partners and how that plays out in the connection. And so I want to point you guys to the recent channeling we did about Hadestown, because that's exactly what this energy is all about. It's about trusting in each other. I'm not going to go deep into it, but it was a profound insight that I had received by listening to that musical. And we talk about the musical and we kind of analyze it intuitively with regards to the Sacred Union Ascension journey, because that musical, which is about the tale of the myth of Orpheus and Eurydice, also including Persephone and Hades, is absolutely a twin flame journey. And both Persephone and Hades and Orpheus and Eurydice are parallels to that twin flame journey, both couples. But we talk about that and kind of spell that out and analyze that in a gorgeous way that was brought through. And it's all about trust. It's all about trust, but that trust has to come from within. That trust has to come from an honoring and a balancing of the masculine and the feminine within you first. That's your inner union, right? And so with regards to the masculines, as the feminine is honored, that's when their masculine energy rises, so that they take action steps that are in accordance with that feminine's intuition, with that feminine's guidance, with that honoring of the self. And that's where they had in the past been disconnected because of beliefs. So they have been disconnected from that universal love within themselves, that unconditional love within themselves. They have been disconnected from themselves. And so I feel like this is what we have been channeling over the past couple of weeks and months, is this shift, this rebirth that the masculine has been experiencing within themselves, connecting more to themselves. And as they connect more to themselves, they're able to connect more to the world around them, to ground that energy into the world around them. Again, that Hadestown quote, to the world we live in, to the world we dream about, and the one we live in now. It's about being the bridge for both, and recognizing that as we connect more to ourselves and honor that universal love within ourselves, honor that unconditional love within ourselves and each other, that is unity consciousness, shifting our beliefs and being in alignment with ourselves with those new beliefs, recognizing that we have the conscious choice for our very creation. The more that we're in alignment with that, the more that has a ripple effect on everything and everyone around us. That is the true alchemy. And I feel like that is what the divine masculine is coming into balance it with. And that's why, number one, they're returning home. They're returning home to themselves and returning home to maybe GodSource, the universe, that spiritual connection, whatever that higher power is, however that is labeled or defined, whatever feels resonant for you. It is that same love source energy. That's all it is. It is source energy, love source energy. They're connecting with that. And I do feel like divine feminines, they're connecting with you as well, whether that is in the physical or whether that is energetically. But it feels like it's in a new energy, a very new energy. What do we need to know for the divine feminines at this time? We have the word dynamic. I'm getting this energy of change. Again, they're pointing me to the numbers 2 and 3 equals change. So I do feel like there is this evolution, this expansion that you're experiencing. And if you're like myself, where you felt a little bit disconnected over the past several months, or you felt like you were in a little bit of a hermit mode, that was a preparation for this energy to come. To recognize your empowerment, to recognize your embodiment. And so I feel like that's where the word dynamic is coming into play. It's recognizing like your dynamic within yourself, which also plays out within your connection. The more you are in a state of empowerment, the more you are in a state of embodiment, the more that has a positive impact, not only on yourself and your individual life, but on your connection, because you're evolving into the next version of yourself. You're evolving to the next version, phase, stage, cycle of your connection as well. If you read my book, we talk about this. There's different levels of the twin flame sacred union journey, and that the first phase might be more of that tension, that friction. You might not understand the journey as such. You might have glimpses and little bits of understanding of what the journey is. Again, feminines can see the bigger picture, but she's going through her own process of ascension. Again, that's where forgiveness comes into play. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know when you're unconscious what it means to be unconscious. And so part of your ascension journey is growing more conscious. And so you might make mistakes, you might make missteps, but you don't judge yourself for it because you don't know what you don't know. Well, as you move into the higher heart ascension, as I like to call it, that is the more conscious stage. And so you're approaching life, your connection, yourself much more consciously. You're much more conscious in how you communicate. You're much more conscious in how the dynamics that you have with other people. You're much more conscious in how you're connecting to yourself, to God's source, to the universe, to the world. You're much more conscious. You're in a much more conscious state. But again, you can't berate yourself, criticize, or judge yourself for the states that you were in. Thus, you also can't berate or judge yourself or other people for the states that they're in. And that's a big thing on this ascension journey. You will meet throughout your life now many people who are at different stages of awakening and different stages of ascension. And that's where we have to hold the light. That's where we have to hold compassion for other people. That's where it's so important to continue to stay humble and recognize that not everybody is going to be where you are, and you're not going to be where other people are. You're also going to have mentors. You're also going to have people who are at maybe more expanded or elevated stages of their ascension journey who are teaching you. That is the beauty of this world, is everybody's going to be a reflection of us. They're going to be reflecting maybe old unconscious states of us, or they're going to be reflecting new versions of us and where we want to go. But it's your choice. That's where your level of consciousness takes you. It's your choice with regards to what you do with that. Holding compassion for those who are in states of unawakened, or unawakened states, I should say, if I'm being grammatically correct. Use your word, Susan. It is holding compassion for those who maybe are where you were. It is, and helping to guide them forward, and recognizing too that that's their journey, that you can't control their journey. You can just serve as guides. You can just serve as templates of love. Truly is what you are. And there are going to be people who are going to motivate you to be better. And again, that's the choices that you make. Who is it that you want to be? Who is it in this new conscious state of being? Knowing that you get to choose Who is it that you want to be? So I want to read this too. The frequency of dynamics supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origins and frequencies. Again, who is it that you want to be? This is the wholeness of all that you are. This is the union energies. The masculine, the feminine, and God's source. We channeled this many, many years ago as the Three of Pentacles, but then they showed me that it's actually the Two of Cups pouring into the third. That is actually two polarities, masculine and feminine, pouring into the third, in which it is one. That's the oneness. This is the wholeness of who you are. So it's not as divided as we believe it to be. Whether this is you and your masculine, whether this is you and God's source, whether this is you and other people in your life, whether this is you in the world, it's not as divided as you might think it is. Everybody is an aspect. Everybody is a reflection. This is you in the wholeness. You get to look at those reflections and choose. Oh, that's an old version of me. I'm not feeling that anymore. That's not part of me. That's not part of the experiences I want to have. Oh, that is something that I admire. That is something that I feel is resonant with me. That is something that I feel is resonant with the truth of my soul, the core of my soul. And so you integrate that as part of you. That is the wholeness. Everybody is a reflection of us. It helps us to put together a reality that is made up of many different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. All right, yeah, look, bottom of the deck, we have empowerment, and we also have conception, and conception is you, divine feminine. You, as a feminine energy, give birth to the new. And the masculine, then, is the one that grounds that into the physical. And I liken this to being to a house. I use the analogy a lot of a house. So, divine feminine, you have the idea or the creation energy, the blueprint, you see the bigger picture of a house, for example, and you bring that to the masculine energy, your inner masculine energy, or it could be, for example, a counterpart. And the masculine energy is what grounds that into the physical. They provide, they build, they create in the physical aspect. You create energetically, they create in the physical. And so, again, you do this within yourself too. This is your own inner masculine and inner feminine, but the masculines will experience this in conscious connection. You will experience this with your masculine partner if you're a divine feminine, or just reverse it if you're a masculine. So conception is that bringing into being. And you do that through your sense of embodiment, through your sense of empowerment. And empowerment is not control. Empowerment is connection to oneself. We've been channeling for years the Oracle of Delphi. The Oracle of Delphi says, know thyself. That is the greatest gift that your ascension journey brings you. To know yourself, to connect deeply to yourself, is connecting deeply to the divinity within. Connecting deeply to your soul, connecting deeply to the universe. It is all one. It is all one. Okay, let's take a look a little bit deeper and see what's going on for the masculine and the feminine. What's going on for the divine masculine, please? Divine masculine, King of Wands. There's a fiery energy. This is a fire energy that's coming through, but it feels like a confidence. I usually don't like this King of Wands. He looks a little bit conceited, arrogant. I usually don't like that King of Wands. And I feel like that might have been an energy of the past masculine. I feel like in this sense, there's a humbling. There's a sense of I know who I am now. There's a sense of renewed confidence, but that confidence doesn't come with it conceit. That confidence doesn't come with it arrogance. This confidence is sacred. This confidence is empowerment. This confidence is I know who I am now. I know that I can sit on my throne, and I'm going to take those action steps to sit on my throne. I know the leader that I want to be. That's the realization, the recognition that I feel is happening. I know the leader that maybe I tried to be in that distorted lens. And there, again, a sense of arrogance, a sense of conceit, a sense of toxic energy. Very toxic energy was coming through here. But I feel like this is the divine masculine deciding who they actually want to be, the type of leader that they actually want to be. And they keep bringing me King Arthur as the quintessential divine masculine, the conscious masculine, deciding who they want to be. They might be in the decision phase now. Tell me more about Tell me more about the Divine Masculine, please. What do we need to know about the Divine Masculine and their journey? Yeah, Five of Swords. This was that distorted lens because they were out of balance with themselves. They were in battle with themselves. They were in conflict with their feminine and their masculine, in conflict with their ego and their intuition. And this was a masculine that was in their ego. And that's not, again, how do I say this? That's not a judgment, because we've all experienced that. But this is a masculine that has been going through, recognizing. This is a masculine that has been going through that change. And Five of Swords, 5 is that element of change. Deciding, making that conscious decision of, this is who I want to be, not that person that I was. This is who I am, this at the heart. This is who I am at the core, at the soul. This is how I want to present myself. This is how I want to be in the world. This is how I want to show up in the world. This is how I want to show up for myself. This is a new energy. Very interesting. It's a very old energy and a new energy that's coming in here. And it's like the old is being pushed away. Not suppressed, not pushed down, but being cleared, being alchemized. That's part of the shifting beliefs. Remember, we've been talking about how the Divine Masculine has been recognizing their own self-worth, and that there's no amount of love another person can give for you to recognize and love yourself. That's an inside job. And this Divine Masculine has been going through a rebirth and recognizing their worth, not from something outside of themselves, but from something inside of themselves. And Divine Feminine, you've been going through that yourself, maybe more on the feminine aspect and allowing yourself to receive that love. Divine Masculine has been going through that as well over the past several months. We've been channeling that. And I feel like that's what's alchemizing. It's that old energy of lack of worth, lack of belief in oneself, lack of love for oneself. That's what's shifting. And so it's a very interesting energy that I'm getting here. Even though these cards would seem more, I don't want to say negative because it's not a negative thing. It's just more of the distorted lens. It's like that's what's being alchemized. Like that's what's being cleared. That's what's being pushed out, so that they're recognizing that balance within themselves. They're recognizing that oneness. They're recognizing, again, the leader that they want to be, coming online with both their heart and their mind, and recognizing the mind as a powerful tool, not the ego, but the higher mind as a powerful tool when in connection to the intuition, when in connection to the soul. That is the union of the feminine and the masculine. The masculine being the higher mind, the feminine being the intuition. So recognizing this energy, very powerful energy. Tell me more about the masculine. What's going on for the masculine? Seven of Pentacles, yeah. They've been going through this process. The Seven of Pentacles is an energy of patience with oneself, compassion with oneself too. It's an energy of the harvest, having patience for what is growing, having patience for what is ripening on the vine. Because what is ripening on the vine is this newness. It feels very raw. It feels very vulnerable here. But I feel like this Divine Masculine is also learning to expand their capacity. And that could be like nervous system work, but it's expanding the capacity to hold space for themselves, hold space for others. It's expanding the capacity to connect with oneself. It's an expansive energy that's coming through here. I feel like this Divine Masculine is learning to be gentle and compassionate with themselves too. Yeah, there's an expansion that's happening here. Interesting. Anything else we need to know? Anything else we need to know for the masculine? Ace of Cups, Seven of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. I feel like lots of emotions coming through here, lots of water energy coming through here. I feel like with the Ace of Cups, this is self-love. And with the Seven of Cups, it's making choices from those self-love, from that place of self-love that is honoring and moving them more towards where they want to go, moving them more towards their happiness. Versus, this is self-empowerment. This is recognizing that you're the creator of your reality. This is shifting your beliefs from life happens to me to, oh, I get to create my experiences, or at least I get to create my responses to those experiences. And that's what shifts the energy. That's what shifts the experiences. And so with the Nine of Cups here, it's what is it that I want to create? Do I want to create like unhappiness, or do I want to create fulfillment? The Nine of Cups leads to the Ten of Cups. Nine of Cups is nurturing this within yourself. Ten of Cups is nurturing this with a partner, with a family, with the world. And so I feel like this masculine is deep in their emotions, but also recognizing that intimacy with themselves, that vulnerability with themselves, and having the capacity to be that intimate and vulnerable with themselves, and thus intimate and vulnerable with others, is actually such a positive thing, because that's what connects us to each other. That's what bonds us to each other. That's what relates us to each other. That's what builds empathy and understanding and compassion. That's what builds that template of universal love. Beautiful, beautiful. New. Let's see what's going on for the Divine Feminine. We have the Three of Cups. We have the Six of Swords. Yeah. Divine Feminine, you're coming out of your Hermit energy. And this might be kind of that balance that you're finding within yourself. Moving into calmer waters where things might have felt very hermity. I feel like you might be socializing more. You might be celebrating yourself or others more. You're filled up. You've been filling up your cup. And now it's like everything is much more smooth because you're much more connected to yourself. And that's where you've been finding that balance within yourself. Now, this can play out in a number of different ways. You might have been finding balance within yourself and your own inner masculine and feminine energies. You might be finding balance with yourself like me. I've been finding a work-life balance, which has been so healthy for me, my mental health, taking care of myself, nurturing myself. For others, it might be balance with other people, relationships, connections, friendships. You might be finding a balance that is much more healthy, especially if you were in an over-giving mode or in self-sacrificing mode. Now you're honoring yourself more, which allows you to be in a state of overflow when you're giving to others. So this feels like a very healthy energy that you are moving into, Divine Feminine. When I say healthy energy, it feels empowered. It feels, again, like in a state of filling up your cup. Again, that's where you were, I feel, in the past couple of months, filling up your cup, maybe taking a step back, nurturing yourself more in that hermit energy. It doesn't feel like you were in hermit energy like in a cave, but in a hermit energy like just taking time for yourself, nurturing yourself, spending time with yourself, connecting more to yourself. And now it's like things are moving forward. There's momentum that's gaining, but it feels more aligned. That's what the Six of Swords feels like it's aligned now. Anything else for the Divine Feminine that we need to know? Anything else for the Divine Feminine that we need to know? Yep, that's getting the wheel moving again. It might have looked like it was stagnant. We talked about this in one of the Sacred Union energy updates, where it might have looked like things were stagnant, but they weren't. Energy was still flowing. Energy was still moving underneath the surface. You just need a little bit of a break. You just need a little bit of to fill up your cup so that you can, again, be in that state of overflow and nurture and give from that state of overflow. Remember, the masculine and feminine dynamic is that infinity sign, where the masculine is actually the one that gives, and the feminine energy has to be able to receive in order to then amplify the energy. She amplifies the energy of whatever it is that she receives. So then she gives back to the masculine, and he receives, and he's able to give more, and thus the natural infinite flow between the two, the energetic flow between the two. Well, if that's disconnected, especially within yourself, Divine Feminine, we see that in connection, right? We see that if there's no flow of energy between two counterparts or in a relationship, whatever that relationship is, then you have a disharmony, then you have a breakdown. There has to be a reciprocity. There has to be a flow between the two in order for that harmony, in order for that love to flow. But that can happen within yourself too. Or I should say that happens within the self also. So if there is a disconnect within yourself, then you are, like, there's a break between that flow of energy. And so you have to get back into that harmony. You have to repair that. Just like you have to repair if there's disharmony within a connection, you have to repair within yourself too. And so that's where it might have looked like it was stagnant, but that's where you were called to go into that hermit mode to fill yourself up, to get back into that overflow so that you're not lacking anything. You're in that state of abundance, and that moves your physical world forward. And that's where we have the 10 of Cups. I like how the masculine has a 9 of Cups and the feminine has a 10 of Cups, because this too is showing us how the masculine gives to the feminine and the feminine amplifies and gives back to the masculine, right? Again, that flow of energy. So the masculine is giving love and is grounded within themselves and offering love and honoring to the feminine. The feminine then amplifies that and creates connection for the two of them. And the masculine has to receive that connection, has to receive what the feminine is offering in order for that dynamic to continue, in order for that flow to continue. And the flow just gets better and better and better and better. And that's what love is. Love is enhancing. Love is an expansive energy, a naturally expansive energy. It's just when we're cut off from ourselves or each other that breaks down. So 10 of Cups, I like that's what it's moving into. You're moving into that state of overflow, divine feminine. Okay, we're going to end with some guidance here. I'm going to use the Moonology deck here. What is it that we need to know right now for the masculine? What does the masculine need to know right now? Surrender to the divine. Yep. It's that release of control, because that's the ego, right? And the more you allow yourself to surrender, the more you're in alignment with your soul, the more you're in connection with yourself. And that's where you, again, are honoring the feminine intuition, which is part of you. And taking that action step, that's surrender. You're allowing yourself to surrender. Surrender doesn't mean submission. Surrender means being in that state of being in that state of trust. Trust being that key word. What do we need to know for the feminine? Guidance for the feminine. A fiery climax approaches. This is interesting. It could be that there's a conclusion of a cycle. It could also be that there's the beginning of something new, because we do have the full moon in Aries, and Aries is that start of the new. It's the first sign in the zodiac. 2 full moons though, so it does feel like there is a fullness here. It does feel like there, and when I say fullness, it does feel like there is something has come to completion. Let me explain that for a bit. Coming to completion means a cycle, means a phase. Again, moving from maybe that matrix kind of energy into the higher heart ascension, which is surrender, which is conscious connection, where you might have been stuck in that twin flame, sacred partner journey. I call it the twin flame matrix, which is where there's triggers, where there's friction, where there's tension. It doesn't mean you're not going to experience those things in the higher heart ascension phase, but in that phase, you're much more conscious of it, and you're much more consciously communicating. You're much more consciously connecting. You're much more consciously repairing any disrepair or disharmony in the connection. You're doing it together. There might be more of an individualistic approach down here, but in this stage, you're doing it together, and you're recognizing the connection, recognizing that you're doing it together. In alignment is what it is. And so this fullness feels like, again, completions and conclusions of past energy as you're moving into the new. Again, endings and beginnings happening simultaneously. We tend to not understand that from our ego sense, from our human sense, because we tend to think of things very linearly. We tend to think of things in boxes as humans. But endings and beginnings happen simultaneously, just as destruction and creation happens simultaneously. What we learn on our ascension journey is that it's not an either or, it's not black or white. It never is. We are transcending that duality. We still experience duality in some sense as humans, but we look at it from the bigger picture. We look at it from the soul's perspective now. We look at it as it's not just either or, but it's an and. 2 things, 2 truths can be held at once. 2 emotions can be held at once. 2 experiences can be held at once. and. So, anything we need to know for the union energies? Anything we need to know for the union energies? Adjustments are required, yep, and confidence is your key to success. So adjustments are required is moving in a much more conscious way, and that's also what brings in confidence. Confidence is consciousness. Okay? All right, and yeah, look at the bigger picture. And prosperity lies ahead. They want me to take that as well. This is what you're moving into. Endings and beginnings. Conclusions and newness. That forward momentum. There's always going to be that forward momentum. Just trust in the unfolding of that and trust in yourself too. Okay, all right, this is going to be it for now. We'll be back soon with another Sacred Union energy update, as well as more soul path readings and deep dive sacred channelings in this year ahead. I am sending you all so much love, so much light, and we'll see you next time.